Hello there and welcome to ADcraft. Today I've got something very special, and some of you may recognise this behind me as a build from my Futuristic series. However, I did promise you guys that if it did well enough that I would do a full tutorial on it. So here we are. Thank you for all the support and the views on the video, and here is the tutorial. I will be showing it later on as well at night time and with the default textures on, so make sure you don't miss out on that, and also letting you know how you can get a world download of not just this build but all of the other builds in this futuristic world later on. So without any further ado, let's get on with the video. Here's the materials list for the finished build. There are quite a lot of smooth quartz blocks, but if you are running a bit low on quartz, you could always replace these with white concrete. So the first thing we're going to do for this build is we're going to start marking out some of the different areas and different things that we're going to build, just so we can put it out and see exactly how it's going to look. And this is quite a big build, so the overall space that it will have at its widest point is 53 by 53. So yeah, really big, but also gives you quite a lot of space. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take this, the center spot, and we're going to count out, starting with 1 on this block. We're going to count out to a total of 9, and we're going to do that in each direction and mark those out. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And on that 9th block, we're going to mark a sea lantern out there, and we're going to do that in all 4 directions, so we've got cross. Now, once we've got our sea lantern cross out, what we're going to do is choosing any direction, doesn't matter, because again, this is symmetrical on all of the sides, so you just do the same thing that I'm going to show you 4 times. We're going to come out and we're going to come down to the ground level, and we're going to find out where this lines up with this. So we find this block, and then we mark that. And then we're going to come out diagonally 1 more block. So we come out diagonally from the center 1 block here. And then what we're going to do, this is going to be the edge of another one of the spheres. So then we are going to count across this also by 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And put a block here. And when we've done that, we're going to come across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this is the center then of the next of the domes. So using this as the center, again, count out 9 in each direction and put a sea lantern at that point. And then repeat exactly the same thing all the way around. And I'll show you what it'll look like in a second. When you mark the space out, it'll look like this. Now, I've had to go quite a way away just because it does cover quite a large space here. But essentially, each of these marked ones, and I've changed the middle out for a piece of light blue concrete, just so you can see more easily. Each of these is going to be the center of its own dome. So we've got 5 domes that go on the floor, and then we've got a sphere that sits above this middle dome. So what I'm going to do now is actually go down to the middle and show you how to build one of the domes, and then you just repeat it on each of the other 4. Step 1 of doing the dome is actually marking out where you're going to be building the dome itself, so the circle that goes alongside that. So coming out any of the sides, doesn't matter which way. So you come out and we're going to build a 17 diameter circle. So for that we come out 2 blocks from this, then we come 2 blocks, and we're going to fill these in with some smooth quartz, then 1 block, 2 blocks, and then 2 blocks will take you back to your center point for the next one. So again, just to do that again, you go out 2 blocks, come in and then go 2 blocks this way, 2 diagonals, and then 2 more blocks here with 2 to bring that round. So as you can see, and I'll just fly up, so you can see that gives you a nice smooth curve, and just carry that on all the way around. What we're then going to do at this ground level, keep the middle block, but we're just going to fill this whole thing in with the smooth quartz, because this is the floor of the base itself at floor level. So yeah, fill this in and we will have a nice big white circle here, and I'll come back once that's done. With your nice big white circle now done, then we are going to start building the 1 level of walls before we start on the glass for the dome. And for this, we're just going to completely duplicate what we did to mark out the circle in the first place. But every so often, we're actually going to place a sea lantern. So what we're going to do is start here and place a sea lantern with blocks, just the 3 blocks in the middle. Then we're going to have 1 block and a sea lantern. Then we're going to have these 2 diagonal blocks here, sea lantern here and here, and then exactly the same pattern. So going around this way, sea lantern on this corner block, then a block and a sea lantern, 2 blocks, sea lantern block, and then sea lantern here, and carry on round. So just fill this in for the rest of the circle. Once you finish putting all of those sea lanterns in and the smooth quartz, this is the pattern that you'll get. So if just pause the video now and have a check to make sure that that matches up. And now we're going to start building up the dome. With the outline in place, we're going to go about making this dome, and the way that I found is by far the easiest for making domes is making patterns, in fact, in them. So what we're going to do is, in a similar way to how we've spaced this out, we're actually going to do exactly the same as we did, but over the top. So we're going to come up 2, then again you'll need some junk blocks if you're doing this in survival, come across 2, then you come in 1, in another, and this time we come in 2, and then the final thing is we come in 2, and that will bring us to the center spot. So mark that with a sea lantern and do that all of the 4 sides so that you bring everything into this middle. With those all connected up, we're going to start filling in some patterns around the sides, and these patterns after a while are actually going to link up and create the full dome. And this, like I say, is by far the easiest way that I have found of building domes in Minecraft and spheres. So what we're going to do is come in and we're going to fill in 1 block on top of here, and we're going to fill in 1 block here. So what we've got here is the start of a plus. And actually what we're going to do is exactly the same on the top, and we're going to build out that plus. So we're going to create on each of the sides this same pattern of just filling in the L shape. And missed a block. And this is why you use patterns, because when you look at them, your brain can easily detect if you've made any mistakes. So we're going to create that around each of the different sides. With all of those filled in, the next pattern that we're going to run is on this next layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to surround what we've currently got, and we're going to do that by placing 2 blocks on each of these, and then we're going to go for another L shape. So we're going to go for an L shape here and an L shape here, and you can do this any way round. So basically you've surrounded it like so, and replicate that on all of the sides and also on the top. So we fill in, I'll just show you quickly on here, do each bit with an L shape in place like so, and just complete that all the way around. With all of these done, you can see that the actual spaces in between are starting to reduce, and when you look around it you can actually quite easily tell that all of this is as it should be. And the next layer of what we're going to do, I'll show on one side again, and you can repeat this all the way around. And you can take it so each quarter is a quadrant really. What we're just going to do is surround all of this by 1 block. So every time that we have a block out, we're coming across, and that will then link up here, and we do the same on the other side. So you can do this from either way, and using scaffolding or from the outside also works if you're doing this in survival. But then you create that space, and once you've done that, including around the top, then you'll have very little space left for us to fill in. Now that stage is done, as you'll see, I'll just have a look around so you can see, we've got these little triangular bits in all of the corners. So this is how it looks in the roof. You literally have just surrounded all of those blocks with an extra line of blocks on the inside. And for these 4, then it's exactly the same thing. What we're going to do, you will need some temporary blocks for this, but you're just going to place a block and come in on each of these sides firstly. Oh, wrong place, there we go. And then down here at the bottom. And then you've got another smaller triangle, and what we're going to do is the same thing here. We're just going to come in for each of these with a temporary block. So we've done that. And last one, knock that out, and you can still see that you've got that same pattern, but it's now filled in. So just repeat that on all of the sides and you've completed your first dome. Now once you've done that dome, you'll be stuck inside slightly, but what we're going to do is for each of these, and you can obviously just use some temporary blocks if you prefer, but we're just going to knock out these side pieces to allow us to get to the other corners. So we're going to do that just all the way around first and foremost, but it also lets you out of the dome. It's just these two sets between these sea lanterns on each side, because these are then going to become walkways to the next dome. Now we've done that. Basically you do exactly the same with this being the center in all of the other four. So I'll come back once that's been done. Literally exactly the same, just with all of these, but on these ones obviously you can knock through those corner bits so they line up. With all of those done, you will have a lovely pattern like this, and it's already starting to look like the base. And the next thing we're going to do is start connecting up some of these side areas. So what we are going to do is take our smooth quartz, and we're just literally going to diagonally run between these two and these two sea lanterns on the builds. They should line up, and then we're going to replace the floor with some more of the smooth quartz and bring this through. We're going to take out also these sea lanterns, we don't need those anymore, but yeah, just fill that up firstly, and then once that is done, I'll very quickly finish this. The next thing that we're going to do is do two high walls. So we're going to put another block of glass here, and then we're going to come up and build this up too, all the way across along here, and then fill that gap in and do the same on the other side. So two high glass on top of the quartz, and here like so. Next we're going to knock out these two that we have remaining here, and we're going to knock out these two corner pieces as well because we don't need those anymore. Now obviously use Silk Touch if you are going to be doing this in your survival world so you don't lose any of the glass. And what we're then going to do is come out and fill this in with glass. But this block here we're going to place, and it's actually going to be a sea lantern, so we can come around to do that and do the same at the other side. So this one here is actually going to be a sea lantern, but we'll just pop in the glass. And then once we've got the glass in, we can bring it round the edges like so to connect up. Put an extra block of glass somewhere, but I'll find that in a second. Like this, and do the same on the other side. And what that will naturally do is create some holes. Two more pieces here. Now in these holes we're going to put some sea lanterns, and we're going to do those leaving one and then placing a sea lantern and doing the same at the other side, and then we're just simply going to fill these in with the glass like that. So you've got two sea lanterns together, two sea lanterns together, and do that on all of the four walkways. With all of the 5 domes now connected up through this central hub, then I think, yeah, it's already starting to look really cool. So now we've got the next stage, and what we're going to do is we're going to come here to the edge, and we're going to knock out a 3x3 hole in the middle here. And what we're then going to do, using the glass again, is we're going to come up a total of 9 blocks here. So we've got 1 here, we've got to then go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, actually it's 11, 10, 11. And we're going to do that all the way around. We're going to just bring this up to the same level right the way around the build itself. So we've then got that same 3x3 hole replicated down beneath us. With the pillar in the middle now completed, what we're actually going to do is we're going to start creating the sphere on top. Now we're going to do this in exactly the same way that we've done with the domes. The only difference with the sphere is it's 2 domes. It's a bottom dome and then it's a top dome. So it's exactly the same as that. So the first thing we're going to do is find the center here. And this is the center of the edge. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up from here, and we're going to come up a total of 9. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one too many. And then again, we're going to come out from this with this being 1 into each of those edges by 9. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we don't actually need the rest of these blocks. We'll keep the center block. We don't need these blocks either. And using this as the center block, and using some scaffolding or some dirt or in creative mode, do exactly the same that we did with the first ones and put those 4, put the cross in place. With that done, it's again just replicating what we did on the bottom. You can always check that these are lined up straight by coming above them and looking directly down. But then we're just going to do the same again around the edge. We're going to come out 2, then in 1 and across 2, and then 2 diagonal. Oh, knocked out the wrong one. And then 2 more this way, and then it lines up, and carry that out all the way around because we're going to have another ring round. Now at this point, you can, if you want, replicate exactly the same pattern with the sea lanterns with them here, or you can do that afterwards. So the sea lanterns would be here and here, here and here, and we wouldn't have the center block. That would be some quartz. So if you want to do that as you're going around, you can, or you can complete the circle so you've got that and then put the sea lanterns in. But we'll come back once this is done. With the ring in place, then simply come down to the level where you've got this sea lantern, and this is the first level, so we immediately go up the 2 and out the 2 blocks, and then we go across 1, across a second one, that's up and across, and then up 2, and then as you will see, this links up to the middle here, and we do the same on each of those 4 sides, and then we equally do the same in the center here. So we can bring it up and we'll get to the middle block by going up 2, in 1, in 1 again, up 2 again, in 1, in 1, across 2, and then when we go across 2 more, it brings us right in line with the center here, so we'll just put the sea lantern there. So yeah, do that again on all the sides. Once we've got those lines connecting up the sphere, then we do exactly like we did in the first one, but we just carry it on. So we do not just the dome, but both halves. So for this one, we come up and we create the full cross on the side, like so, and we do this on all of the 8 different directions that you've got: north, south, east, west, and up and down. And once you've done that, the next one that we're going to do is again adding the 2 on the sides, and then we've got the L in the middle, so you do that again all the way around. So you add 2 here, 2 here, and then the L, and do that on the bottom as well. Then we just surround it all the way around so it connects up here, and keep going this way, just show you on the top. And do each of these steps in turn for all of the different sides, and then you'll be able to spot anything. So for example, if on this one you'd left that out, as soon as you look at it, your brain is wired to find out where there's a gap in the pattern. So yeah, fill those all in, and then we'll come back just to do the last couple of bits. When you've done that on all sides, then you'll be left with these triangles again in all of the corners. Now I filled in most of them, but left some of them here, so just to show you for the bottom ones, again you just come in from the side with a junk block, and then from the top with the junk block, then that leaves you with a gap of 3, and then you come in again from the side and just make sure that you take out the junk blocks, and then you fill the gap, and just do this for each of them. So again for this one, just come in, fill in the extremities, and then in here, here, and here, and then you've got that filled in. So do that for all of them, and then you've got a completed sphere. Now with the first of the pillars, again you can do this on absolutely any side. I'm going to show you once, and then you just do it on each of the other sides. First thing that we do is we find the middle of this wall, and then we come out 2 and then a 3rd block, and then we come across 2 on each side like that, so it's level with the sea lanterns, and you've got a 2 gap here, And what we're going to do is we're going to take this one up and this one up 35 blocks in the air in total. So up we go to the 35 blocks. With your two tall pillars in place, what we're going to do is we're going to bring up either side of this to 1 block beneath this height. So we're just going to bring all of this right the way up and all of this side right the way up as well. Now we are going to make some slight changes to this once we've built it all up, but this is getting the basic shape in place. So yeah, just bring this up to the side, and then when we're at the top, I'll come up here and show you what we're going to do when we've got to the top, which is here. On either side of this, we're going to place a stair. So it'll give us a nice rounded shape filled in like this, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Once you've built these two pillars, then you'll see that they actually are exactly the same height as the structure, which is what you need with the 35 blocks. And at this point you get to choose what color scheme you want. So this build, because there's a lot of glass and there's a lot of smooth quartz in there, needs a splash of color. So within this you can pick, and what I've chosen is to pick some light blue and some blue concrete. And what we're going to do is 1 block, so just down 1 block, we're going to fill this in. And what we're going to do is we're going to fill it in, and the sides of this are going to be with the light blue or the lighter tone that you choose, depending on whatever that is, and then the middle is going to be the darker. And we're going to bring that right the way down the build to ground level. So go ahead and fill that in. With the colour in place, and we are going to make some slight adjustments at the bottom of this later on, but just to help show and shape this. With the colour in place, we've got the basic structure, as I say. Now we are going to come and start expanding on this outwards. So the first thing we're going to do is come down 1, 2, and then knock this out on both sides and put a sea lantern in place. And then we're going to come down equal to the line of sea lanterns here. And again, we're going to put 1 on either side. Now we're going to come down 1 block and 2 blocks again, and then we're going to come out. And here we are going to, on both sides, put an extra block and take this all the way down to the floor. So I'll do that, and then I'll come back. With that added in, we're going to see where this sea lantern is, and we're going to come down 7 blocks. So including that one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And on this block, we're going to come and shift across 1 now. So we are just outside this, and we're going to knock those through and place a sea lantern. And then just beneath that, this is where the next step happens outwards of the sort of flowing smooth transition. And both of these will go all the way down to the ground as well. With that done on both the sides, we again come to the bottom sea lantern, and we go down 7 from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then on the 7th block, again, we move across 1 more and place a sea lantern on either side. Just check, actually that one I thought it was in the wrong place. Here we go. So with that sea lantern in place, now we step out for the next time. However, this time we go across from the sea lantern and we actually go up 1. So like this and like this. So like I say, it's just that 1 block above the sea lantern, and then bring these down to the floor. So I've just noticed that the very top of these sea lanterns should actually be 1 lower. Only the top ones, so yeah. It doesn't really make too much difference, to be honest, but it just means that you've got a kind of a slightly smoother transition of the sea lanterns themselves through the side of this. So anyway, once that's done, we come down to this level where we have just stepped out, and then we come down 1 block, and then we come down a 2nd block, and then come here, and at this point we step out again. So that means that you've got 3 blocks just above this step out, and we bring these ones now down to the ground. For the next change, again, we go down a gap 3. So we 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th block, for both of these, we will go down. Then what we do is we go down another 3. So actually we'll just fill these in and then come out again to show you, and same on this side, and fill all of those into the ground. After filling those in, we've got the next sea lantern placement. So where we had that sea lantern up there, in the middle of this last section that we had, and then we come, well, actually right the way down to the bottom, we just come in 2 blocks and we place our sea lantern here, and that should be in line with that downward pillar. And we do the same on the other side here, come in 2 blocks and place the sea lantern just there. The next step that we have is actually some steps themselves. So we've got this 1 block here, and then we step it out 1, and we actually come across and step this out 1 as well. So we've got a little L-shaped bit coming out, and fill that in very quickly from the bottom. Doesn't take long. Once we have done that, then in the middle of these 3 steps, we come down 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3, and then underneath that, just there, we place the sea lantern. So we'll just leave him here like so, and then you've got a nice smooth curve coming through with the sea lanterns, and then we'll just do the same the other side. Just bring this all the way out, level, oh, one too many, level here, and then where we've got the sea lantern here, we just knock it through, place the sea lantern, and that's that step done. To continue this curve and this step down, we come 1 above this sea lantern, and then we come out 2, all the way through, and then we go down again 1 and out 2 more, just like so, and then finally we come across 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then fill this in, and then that gets done on the other side as well. The final thing to get the basic shape in place is that we come here and we pop a sea lantern in at the bottom of each of these, in the middle of the 5, so 2 in from the end, and then on both of these sides we come out 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and do the same here. And what I will do is I will very quickly show you. The best way to check this is by eye. Just kind of imagine you were running the line through, and you can see that it gives a nice smooth line throughout the curve of this. And now we're going to add the embellishments to the side. Because this is quite a flat area, then we're going to build some of this out to give it a bit more depth. And we're going to do that by adding in some extra pillars coming down here. So the first thing we're going to do is where we've got this first step, we come down 1 and then across, and we're going to place a stair, and then we're going to take the smooth quartz next to that all the way down to the ground and do that on both sides. So with that done on both sides, then the next thing we do is we skip the next step and come down to the step beneath it. So where this steps out just above this sea lantern, we come across here, and like we did before, we just place a stair like so, and then we just fill in with smooth quartz right the way down to the ground, and again on both sides of this pillar. For the next one of these, where we've got this level here, we skip this next one, come down to this one here that's 2 blocks above this, we come right the way across, but rather than doing it in line, we place the stair up 1 block. So the stair here is 1 block above this step, and then exactly the same, take this all the way down to the ground on both sides. For the next stage, what we do is we come to this next sea lantern down, and what we do is we come right the way across from this, and then actually on this far block we go up 1, so it's 1 above this area here, and then we come across again, and then we go down 1 block. So it's now actually, we leave a full block and place the stair beneath that. So you've got it goes up 1 here, and then it goes down 1 here. And then for both of these, we just, I'll show you quickly, fill these up from the ground right the way through, and then do this on the other side as well. Now that the other side is done, we go to the next bit. So what we do, I'll just put the stairs in and fill them in afterwards. So where this stair block is, we come across and we come down 1, and then what we do again is we come across from that out past here and down 1. So we've got 2 stairs like so, and then outside this one as well, we come out and down 1, and then we come out and down 1 again. if I place it the right way up. And then on this side we come level with this second stair and place one here, and then we also place one just there, and we'll just fill those in to show you what it looks like, as we've nearly finished these embellishments now. So yeah, do that on both of the sides and you'll get something that looks like this. To finish off this design on the side, what we do here is we come out and we put a stair here, and then we take some slabs and we bring them out level with this. And now on this side, what we do is we go level with this sea lantern. We place a stair, so it's like this, level with that. And we take the smooth slabs and bring them down level just one block behind this. So we've got two, and then we've got a stair. And then the last thing we do is fill those in. And we have a stair, and then we have a twisty stair like so. So that then gives us the look that we're looking for, and do the same on the other side. I will show you again just because it's a little bit fiddly. So we have a stair here and then two slabs. Level with the sea lantern, we have a stair going this way, and then we have two blocks, and what we have on top of those is a stair, and then we curve the stair round. And then we just bring these out with two more, so it's not quite level with that. Now this is just how I've done it, and as you can see, it gives it a nice kind of bit of depth to it when you're looking at the side of it, but obviously you can tweak this however you like. So we have the initial bit of colour in place, and we've got the main shape for these towers that support the structure going on. Now we need to add in the rest of the colour. So the colour is also going to run parallel with this. And what we're just going to do, and I'll do it just with the light blue on one side, and you can bring it with the blue and the light blue on the other side. We're going to leave exactly one block all the way down this. So whenever we get to a point where there's two blocks again, where this steps out, we go down further and then bring it out. Same again down here, all the way, so you can see that it's stepping in line with how this is changing. Now it's worth noting, if you're building this in survival, this will leave some dark space in here, so you may want to just chuck some sea lanterns in. But yeah, just carry this on down here, like so. Stepping through, as you can see. I mean, you don't need to fill all of these in, you can just leave the corners like that if you wish. And then just bring this out and step it down again. Bring it out, down, step it down again. Once you get to this end bit, we are still going to keep going, but we're going to do it by bringing it in line with this, and we're also going to stop one block before the end. So as you can see now, just from this side, if I fly up, we've got this one gap all the way along, and that runs smoothly the entirety of the structure. So we then just repeat this next to that with the normal blue and then the light blue on the other side. Now you can see that we've got the blue coming right the way through, and like I said, I've chosen light blue and blue, but you can choose any of the colours, either concrete or terracotta, both look really good. And what we're now going to do is just add some lighting, because lighting is really, really important in this build, and I'll show you nighttime once it's all done. But we're going to place some sea lanterns. So we've got a sea lantern here, we're going to come along just before the end and place another sea lantern here. Then we're going to place one just here as well. We're going to come up and place one on this corner, in this middle section, in the middle here, in the middle here as well, and then we're going to go one block before the top on each of these. So each time it's just before a step, we'll come up and we'll place those blocks, and then we won't, and deliberately we're not placing any in this top section, so it'll look like that when you're done. Now the final part for this pillar, before repeating it on all the other sides, is just something to the back. So again, as you can see, as these get thicker, they don't look quite right. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust that. Where we have this step that's coming outwards here, not the top one, but the second one down, where we've got this 3 blocks, we're going to come up 2 from that, so 1, 2, then we're going to come across here, and we're going to knock this block out, and we're going to knock the block behind it out. And then what we're going to do is there's going to be a blue concrete in behind this, running right the way down to the ground, but this is going to be an upside down stair. And what we're going to do is take out all of these blocks and run the blue right the way down to the very bottom, like so. I'll just show you on this side. And then on this side as well. Oh, doesn't matter that I've knocked that one out. That'll get covered up by the blue in a second. Just fill that in. Once that is done, then what we do is we come out and down one, and on both of these sides we'll knock this out, and we'll take this right the way down and do the same at the bottom. So we've got this thicker section of the blue in the middle with the light blue around the outside. And then the last thing that we're going to do is take some sea lanterns and one block down, knock it out here, here, and here. So then we've got this nice pattern on the back that you can see that just evens out a lot of that white space that we would have had otherwise and gives a bit of interest. Now that is a completed pillar, so just replicate exactly all of those steps on each of the sides and I will show you what it looks like. Once you've got all 4 of the pillars built, then the base is very, very nearly finished. So as you can see, they all look fantastic once you've got them around. The one thing that I did decide to do was just take this off, so where it did come up to that height, I basically just knocked it down and brought the stairs in 1 block lower, and then also lowered the colour. But the next thing that we're going to do is add in some of the supports, and for that we're going to be using some end rods. So on all of the sides, what we're going to be doing is coming level with this this line of smooth quartz, and we're going to be adding some end rods here like so, and we're going to do this all the way round the build. So these are the hyper alloys, or basically the super strong struts that are kind of holding this up, just giving it a little bit of extra support so it's not just reliant on the glass. And again, it also gives a fantastic lighting effect when we see this at night time. The next thing that we are going to do is we're going to come down here, and where we've got this long tunnel, we're going to do a similar thing. So placing end rods is always tricky, so I'll just show you on this one and then bring you back. But what we're going to do is place end rods there, top to tail, all the way down this structure, right the way to the bottom, like so. And again, it doesn't matter if you've got that bit there. And we're going to do that in each of these rivets, and we're also going to do it in the center here. So I'll just show you here quickly. In the center, we'll just come down and place them through like this, and we'll do that all the way around. And again, it's got that hyper alloy just holding it all together. With all of these end rods in place, then it gives a fantastic effect because of the hitboxes of the end box. Of the end rods rather, of rounding off this structure as well, so it looks a lot rounder than you'd normally get in Minecraft. And as you can see, that now has a bit of, it breaks up the glass that you have in there, and obviously you've just got these structural rods coming through. Next, we are going to choose an entrance, and this is going to be this side, I think, for where this is placed in the world. And the entrance here is going to be pretty similar to what we had for the walkways. But what we're actually going to do is we're going to come out 1 block here with some quartz and bring this up. We're going to just put the glass in here, and the entrance is just going to be out in quartz in itself. Now, if you want, you can leave it as quartz, or what I think I will do is actually take this quartz out, replace it, and then use the sea lantern. Just pick one up there. Use the sea lantern in its place, basically. So we'll put that there and put the sea lantern in place. Then we just knock out these blocks so we've got a nice entranceway, like so, and that brings it up level. And what we then need to do is basically just link this out here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some sea lanterns on these sides, like that. And then we're going to have actually a stair going in and a stair going in here. And we're going to have some quartz just coming across like this. That's our entranceway. And then just fill in the last few bits with glass. So that gives us a nice entranceway to the actual base. Now, if you're building this in survival and you need it to be a little bit more secure, then potentially there's some other things you could do. You could just have it coming out of here and actually add a doorway onto it. Or if you were really, really fancy, I don't know if you can even do them diagonally, but you could certainly do it on the flat edge. You could have a hipster door where it just comes out of the ground and goes back in, and have a piston door running through. But that is now the finished build. The only thing that we will do is just run through ever so quickly and just take out these bits here where we've got the concrete. Fly through. As you can see, there is loads and loads of space in this build. Lots that you can actually do within it. If you wanted as well, you could have it as the entranceway and use it to have like a big underground section. Here there is plenty of room if you wanted to have some bubble vators going up and bring you into this, but when you're in the top, then you could put a floor at, say, this level and have 2 floors. But yeah, there's loads and loads of options of what you could do. But what I will do now is give you a quick run through with shaders and in nighttime. Before we pop on the shaders, I thought I'd just show you with the default texture pack on. So the texture pack that I use, which is Vanilla BD is just a high resolution version of the vanilla textures. So there's not really much that's changed. The smooth quartz texture in vanilla is a bit busier, but the concrete is a little bit smoother. But other than that, you can see that it just looks exactly the same. I mean, there's no real change to it, which is why I like the texture pack, because it just gives an HD feel to the normal textures. But now I will pop the texture pack back on. I will pop on the shaders and show you the build. And with the shaders on, you can see the finished build, and yeah, it really, really does come to life with the shaders. I tweaked the positioning of the sea lanterns on each of the towers a little bit because a couple of them were a bit too close together. But yeah, this is the finished build, and this build is one that I built on my channel in the worlds that you see around it as part of my futuristic world. So go and check that series out. All of the builds that you'll see in a second are part of that. And I promised the viewers that if this hit 10,000 views, which it did, then I would make the tutorial. So here we are with that. And now the only thing that's left to be done is to show you in nighttime, and yeah, this is when the build really, really comes to life. And in the night with the dark, then all of the lighting that we've put in really, really pays off. And yeah, really, really love this build. It's the most successful in the Futuristic series, but there are lots and lots of other ones, as I'll show you, and I'll show you the original with a variant here. This is the latest build that we've done, a slightly different base with some diagonal raising towers and some hooks and things going on. Loads and loads of stuff, but over here is the original build. And yeah, if you like this build, please do let me know in the comments beneath. That really, really does help. I really do appreciate reading those comments. It's always good to hear from you guys. And check out the other builds, and if there's any others that you'd like to see tutorials of, please do let me know and I'll see about doing those. Here it is with, like I say, a different colour variant. And yeah, love this build and how it's all turned out, so hope you've enjoyed it too. There is a world download available in my Discord, so if you are interested in seeing this world and being able to look at it in a bit more detail, then please do head along, join my Discord. It would be great to see you there, and look forward to seeing you next time on ADcraft.